So it seems like we won't have to wait too much longer till the next Nintendo Direct, as this Wednesday we'll have a brand new dedicated Direct for the upcoming game Donkey Kong Bananza. But as exciting as it might seem that we're getting new information about this game, I am slightly concerned that things might not go as expected. So let's get into it. Welcome back to Mood News. I'm your host Mads, and yeah, Donkey Kong Bananza is probably the game I'm excited for the most with the Switch 2. Obviously, we have Mario Kart World in our hands now, and I'm having a fantastic time with that. I've got a lot of video ideas I want to do on it. Things have been a little bit crazy, guys. That's all I can really say. But technically, Mario Kart World is in the past. Sure, we could speculate on DLC, we could talk about the game itself and a bunch of stuff, but the next game in line to be excited for, to hype up, to plan on purchasing, for me at least, is Donkey Kong Bananza. And so when I got up this morning and I saw the news that Donkey Kong Bananza is getting a dedicated Nintendo Direct, I was actually quite surprised, but it actually goes right in line with how Nintendo are presenting the next generation of the Switch, as far as it seems like it's starting a trend. We'll have to wait until the next game, which is coming out after Donkey Kong Bananza. What would that be? I know we've got Mario Party Jamboree TV, and we've got, you know, all these Switch 2 edition games. Would it be Metroid Prime 4? I guess it would be, right? Now, I'd be saying, Mads, what are you talking about? Why do we have to wait and see till Metroid Prime 4 comes out to see if I'm correct about a trend? The trend in question is the fact that we're getting these dedicated game directs for first-party titles for Switch 2. We had the Mario Kart World Direct not that long ago, and now we're getting a Donkey Kong Bananza Direct very, very soon. And so if this trend keeps up, it will be quite a interesting format for Nintendo to go along, where they give their upcoming titles the complete spotlight 100% versus having them shared in a larger Direct like they've done in previous years. And that, in and of itself, I feel like is actually quite a smart decision on the business side of Nintendo, because everyone loves a Nintendo Direct, and just a buzzword of Nintendo Direct, you get loads of people doing reaction videos talking about it. Look at me, I'm talking about it right now. That just the word Direct has a lot of power and recognition behind it when it comes to Nintendo. And so them being able to just do, you know, the Mario Kart Direct, for Donkey Kong Direct, the Metroid Direct, even for someone who might not be 100% interested in that game by itself, they might still check it out because, you know, they hear Direct. Oh, well, you know, might as well check it out. Nintendo Directs are pretty interesting. At least, maybe I'm wrong on that, but I feel like overall that's a lot better of a strategy to do versus releasing the overview trailer, and it's like a 5-minute thing. Like, do an overview trailer towards like the latter end of the game releasing, or just after the game releases. Labeling it as a Direct gets people excited. They think there's gonna be a mystery about it. They're just overall way more hyped to watch that and experience it like an event versus just a random shadow drop trailer without much purpose, I guess. Obviously that can be done, and we saw that with the Splatoon Raiders announcement, which just sort of got shadow dropped on us randomly. But I would not be surprised if we get a dedicated Splatoon Raiders Direct later down the line, if this trend continues, because it makes a lot of sense. Now, there is a very big glaring issue which can come with this, and before we even talk about what could potentially be in the Donkey Kong Bananza Direct, I feel like we need to talk about this, because that Mario Kart Direct, that was a little disappointing overall. Like, don't get me wrong, the game is phenomenal. Like, I absolutely adore Mario Kart World. The music alone is, oh my god, I could rave about that game for ages. But doesn't change the fact that even though the game is fantastic, that Direct was very underwhelming for a lot of us in terms of the name Direct. I don't think we found out very much in that, except for the fact that you can reverse during the game, like you can do the rewind feature. That was new. We found out a little bit about battle mode. I think we saw the Rob bike for the first time, but like no new characters, nothing crazy. A little hint at Rainbow Road. I'm very glad they kept that as a surprise, by the way. I gotta do a whole video on Rainbow Road at some point, but overall, even though it was called a Direct, it felt like an overview trailer. And that could very much so be the case with this Donkey Kong Direct as well. And it's this weird sort of paradigm where on one hand, I feel like the Mario Kart Direct, for example, I could show that to someone who isn't fully in the loop with what's new in the new Mario Kart. But I did that to a few of my friends who completely were out of the loop and didn't know about the new Mario Kart at all. And I just showed them the Direct because that covered basically everything you need to know about the new game. But it's kind of weird that it's formatted like that, where it's really good for someone who doesn't know that much about it, yet it uses the Direct name, which us core Nintendo fans and video game enthusiasts go crazy crazy for, right? Like we see, oh, Nintendo Direct tomorrow, we're gonna freak out, we're gonna get super excited, we're gonna speculate, we're gonna think, whoa, this is gonna be mind-blowing, this is gonna be crazy. We don't think, oh, this will be a great opportunity for people who aren't us to find out more about the game. Because at that point, you really are dealing with that crowd of, oh, why would I click on this about the, Donkey Kong Direct if I'm not interested in that game? Again, I understand why they're calling it a Direct. It makes a lot of sense to have that naming convention behind it, but they have to realize that they are positioning themselves in a risky situation where a lot of people might get upset, but at the same time, we're going to buy it anyway, so maybe it doesn't matter at all. But I don't know, kind of wanted to give my 2 cents about that first before I talk about the game, but do you guys agree with me on that? Do you think I'm crazy? I don't know, I think like framing them as a Direct makes sense in some ways, but also if this Donkey Kong Bananza Direct doesn't do anything which I'm about to predict and just does follow the same format as Mario Kart World, where we get like maybe a morsel of new information, I feel like that will overall lower the value of Directs as a whole. Even though they're dedicated Directs to specific games, if they're all going to just be basically overview trailers of information we already know, I feel like that could be a little bit dangerous. That can be a little bit dangerous when it comes to exhausting the Nintendo audience on what a Direct is. And it makes me also curious that maybe we won't get a Summer Direct this year. Maybe we will have to wait till September for the next proper Nintendo Direct. I really hope not. I hope we still get one next June and they just have so much information that they want to cram into, and they want to talk about DK that they're doing like 2 at the same time, or maybe like 1 after another. Time will have to tell. But for now, let's talk about the Direct itself. What should I expect? What should you guys expect with the Donkey Kong Bananza Direct? Now, it's no secret that this game is likely developed by the Odyssey team. And if you remember anything about when Super Mario Odyssey came out, they hid a very big element of that game up until E3 2017, and that was the capture mechanic. We didn't know about the capture mechanic when Odyssey was first shown off, and when you think about it, like that is what makes Mario Odyssey unique more than any other 3D Mario game. And even though Donkey Kong Bonanza already stands out a lot with its mechanics, with the digging mechanic, the fact that you can break everything, throw the terrain, surf on it, it does make me think that maybe there is a extra little something which they are hiding from us, which might be revealed. And I don't even think this has to be a gameplay mechanic. I think it could also be something related to the story or the world or just the presentation of a game itself. It could be something like multiplayer, where they just reveal that there's a new multiplayer system, or maybe it's a battle mode multiplayer, or it's a cooperative situation. We do know that the game has multiplayer in some way, and sure, it could just be like, oh, one player places Odd Rock and the other places Donkey Kong, but it could be something bigger. It could be something really, really fun, which entirely takes us out of left field, which we weren't expecting. And I really think we're gonna get something like that. But at the same time, we might have already gotten spoiled what that is. Now, you guys can skip ahead to X timestamp or whatever if you don't want to be hearing something which I've done a video on previously. You guys gone? You guys ready? Okay. Do you guys remember that leak from Nintendo of Korea a while ago where they showed a certain character by the name of young Pauline, as many people describe them looking like? What's the deal with her? What's the deal with the little like baby Pauline, the kid Pauline? Are we getting like a bunch of different characters they can hop on Donkey Kong's back? Obviously we have Odd Rock. If we have this Pauline character, that's 2. Can we get Diddy Kong? We had all those brand new renders for him. What are they for? Like, I will be incredibly shocked and sad if we don't get Diddy Kong in Donkey Kong Bonanza, and the Nintendo Direct could be a perfect situation for us to see Diddy Kong finally in motion. We obviously have the little renders and stuff, but it's not the same as seeing him in game. We've got to see Diddy Kong in game. And maybe, who knows, maybe we have Dixie Kong, maybe we have Funky Kong. There could be a bunch of little characters we could expect, and obviously that interesting leaked character, which may or may not appear. Wouldn't it be crazy if that was fake? No, it can't be fake. That was definitely real. But something which I feel like is 100% obvious that we will get for sure is new environments, like new biomes and stuff. Maybe we'll find out how many layers are in this game in terms of like the different levels. Maybe it's like, oh yeah, discover the 8 layers of the Donkey Kong Isles, something like that we might find out. Maybe something about side quests or like little missions we can do, or like an achievement system. There could also be like a Luigi's balloon quest, what the hell it was called in Odyssey. We could get an equivalent to that in this game. Maybe that's what Diddy Kong's for. Maybe it's like Diddy Kong's like hidden barrel quest where like, oh my god, actually imagine that game mode inside Donkey Kong Bonanza, where you have to dig to try and find people's balloons or whatever. That could be actually quite fun. Maybe they should 100% do that. I actually am hoping that we get that. Obviously, that means that maybe Diddy Kong isn't showcased in the game as we expect, but who knows? I don't know. I'm not going to put anything off the table. I think that could be quite exciting. But yeah, little funny little modes like that, I feel like you can definitely expect. And another thing is the costumes for Donkey Kong. Obviously, that was a huge thing in Odyssey, and we've already seen that it is going to be a big part of this game as we have him in his little overalls. And I think in some footage, we saw that there is a clothing shop in this game. So finding out what we're really collecting in this game and the purpose for them and how we can trade things in for either customizability or other little fun things, I would say it's almost a lock-in for what to expect with this Direct. But maybe we don't see any of that. Everything we know about this game already, we know. And this will just be an overview of the last month or two of what we know about Donkey Kong Bonanza. It'd be so funny if they do that, and then at the very end, they just show K. Rool. And like, that's the entirety of the Direct. It's just information we already know about, nothing else, and then we find out that K. Rool's in the game. Honestly, if I had to choose between that or all the cool stuff, I don't know which I would pick, because I think K. Rool would definitely get a redesign in this game. I bet he's in this game. I don't think there's no question that he's not. Even if it's just like a little cameo, maybe. He's definitely in this game, 100%. But those are my thoughts, guys. That's what I think about Donkey Kong Bonanza getting its little Nintendo Direct. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And be sure to stay subscribed to Mood News for more things. All right, bye, guys.